Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, The Mind of Chase. Today I'll be talking about Vanguard, about my Vanguard account, how I auto-invest with Vanguard, as well as giving you a portfolio update and why I keep most of my assets at Vanguard. Currently, my portfolio balance within Vanguard is $49,100. So without further ado, let's get this started. There are so many reasons why I love Vanguard. Besides the fact that Vanguard offers a large variety of excellently managed tactical and strategic funds at very low costs, Vanguard has a unique management structure in that Vanguard is owned by its funds. The funds are owned by the shareholders, which means the shareholders actually own Vanguard. There are no outside investors other than its shareholders. You won't find this unique management structure with the other major players in the industry, like Fidelity or Schwab, for example. Next, I'll talk a little bit about my Roth IRA at Vanguard. First off, what is a Roth IRA? A Roth IRA is a tax-advantaged individual retirement account vehicle that allows you to contribute up to $6,000 per year and withdraw your capital in retirement without paying any taxes on gains and dividends. And that's because in the current year you're contributing to your Roth IRA, you're paying with after-tax dollars. The Roth IRA vehicle makes more sense when you think your taxes will be higher in retirement than they are right now. Next year, in 2020, the per-year income limit to be able to contribute for singles is $139,000. For married couples, the limit is $206,000. My Roth IRA's balance is $8,400 at this moment. I have a little over $1,000 left that I can contribute for 2019. I currently hold the Vanguard Life Strategy Moderate Growth Fund, ticker symbol VSMGX. It maintains an asset allocation of 60% stocks and 40% bonds. There's no need to ever rebalance, which is very convenient for me in my Roth IRA. The fund has 36% exposure to US stocks and 24% to international stocks. The fund also has 28% exposure to US bonds and 12% to international bonds. I get all of that in a single fund for a very low cost expense ratio of 13 basis points. Next, I'll show you how to navigate the Vanguard website when researching funds. When you first arrive at the Vanguard website, let's make sure you're on the Personal Investors tab. They have different web pages for their different participants, as you can see here. You can hover your mouse over Investing, then click on Vanguard Mutual Funds. Then you want to click on Browse Vanguard Funds by Asset Class. Once that's loaded, there's an extensive list of all of their different mutual funds. If you scroll down, they're organized by these headers here. You can also click Performance Since Inception, click it again to see the highest amount at the top. They offer our US bonds, you can see that there. There are different types of funds, and here are the target date funds. It's a very clean website here. It's a lot of data to look at though. Of course, the US stock funds, the most famous being the total stock market here, VTSAX, as well as the S&P 500 VFIAX, two very popular funds. For this purpose today, I'm going to just type in my fund that's in my Roth IRA called the Life Strategy Moderate Growth Fund. with this particular view, you can see all the descriptions about my fund that I hold. Like I said, it's a 60-40 stocks bonds fund that automatically rebalances, and you can see all the different figures of performance in a bar chart. Since inception of 1994, it's produced an annualized average return of 7.56 as of 9/30/2019. So hypothetical growth from 2009 all the way to October 31st, 2019, with an initial $10,000 investment, the fund pretty much doubled, more than doubled, to $21,963. You can also see the price and performance here. Has an SEC yield of 2.13%. What I like to really focus on is the average after-tax returns. And you can see that since inception, the returns after taxes and distributions and sales of fund shares has been 5.93%, which is excellent for a balanced fund like VSMGX. And I say balanced because it includes stocks and bonds in a single fund. You can also see the portfolio management here. As for the stock style, it's got a large cap blend. For the bonds, it's holding medium duration, mostly treasury bonds. And like I said, it's a 60% stocks, 40% bonds, with a little bit of cash in the fund. It has $17.3 billion in fund assets. And these are the underlying funds that it tracks. 4 major funds here, and this is the liquidity fund on the bottom, which is just cash. But together, these 4 funds is 60% stocks, 40% bonds, both US and international exposure. If you click on distributions, you'll see it semi-annually pays a dividend, and there's also capital gains distributions. All mutual funds have capital gains distributions. There's a short-term capital gain as well as a long-term capital gain. So all this terminology that I'm throwing at you, you want to make sure you research all of that. This is just a quick overview of how I research my funds within the Vanguard environment. Next, I'm going to discuss what an individual taxable account is. First off, what is a taxable account? A taxable account is an individual brokerage account without contribution limits and without penalty for cashing out. Any realized gains, in other words, sold investments and dividends, are taxed every year when filing taxes. Any realized losses up to $3,000 in the year can be deducted from your earned annual income, reducing your tax liability. A taxable account is great for anyone with more money left over after maxing tax advantage retirement accounts like an IRA or a 401k. One thing I want to really highlight with individual taxable brokerage accounts is you have to be aware of the taxes that eat away at your returns. So if we start at the top, qualified dividends are taxed at 15% if you earn between $39,000 and $425,000 per year. Ordinary dividends, like ones paid by REITs or real estate investment trusts, money market funds, high yield savings accounts, and MLPs, master limited partnerships, are taxed as ordinary income. So please make sure you know your tax bracket. Short-term capital gains are taxed as ordinary income when realized, when you're selling for a profit. Long-term capital gains are taxed at 15% if you earn less than $434,000 per year when you sell for a profit. And you must hold your investments for at least 1 year to lock in the long-term capital gains capital gains tax rate of 15%. For lower income earners, in 2019, long-term capital gains are taxed at 0% if you earn less than $39,000 per year, and if you're married, that income limit is $78,750. My taxable account's current balance is $40,700. The single fund that I'm currently holding in my Vanguard taxable account is the Federal Money Market Fund, ticker symbol VMFXX, and it invests in short-term U.S. government securities, so the yield is largely dependent on the current interest rate environment. It seeks to provide current income and preserve shareholders' principal investment by maintaining a share price of $1. In other words, this is my cash position in my total investment portfolio within my taxable account. Let me show you the fund's description on the Vanguard website. So here's the product summary page for the Vanguard Federal Money Market Fund. Like I mentioned before, its principal strategy is to maintain a share price of $1 by investing in short-term U.S. government securities. Has an expense ratio of 11 basis points, maintains a $1 share price, and the annual yield at this very moment is 1.65%, and this is because it follows the short-term federal rate. Just like how if you have a high-yield savings account, that's also following the short-term federal rate. The Vanguard Federal Money Market Fund's inception is 1981. Since that time, it's never broken the buck and has always been very stable and very liquid. Total fund assets are a staggering $141.5 billion. And the breakdown of its portfolio is treasury bills, government obligations, and repurchase agreements, shown here. When people mention cash in their portfolios, they're usually talking about the Federal Money Market Fund or one other Vanguard money market fund called the Prime Money Market Fund. The reason why I don't invest in the Prime Money Market Fund is because in times of distress, the fund is actually able to restrict liquidation. So while it does yield more than the Federal Money Market Fund, I'd rather just choose this for now, and it's also the default settlement sweep fund for Vanguard. And next up, I'm going to show you how it looks like when you log in to your Vanguard account, and I'll talk a little bit about my portfolio. When you first log into your Vanguard account, you're taken to this My Accounts homepage where you'll see your portfolio balance at the top left. Currently, my balance is $49,196. Down below is the breakdown of your self-managed accounts. I'll be blocking some information to protect my identity, of course, but on this first line, this $40,700 is my taxable brokerage account. Right below that is a traditional IRA brokerage account that I had opened, and that's more for when I switch jobs and I want to roll over my pre-tax 401k. This gives me the option to roll all of that capital into this traditional IRA account. Down below is my Roth IRA account that I had mentioned, and that balance right there you can see is $8,400. Up here, if you hover your mouse over My Accounts, I'm going to describe the most important links. You have your account overview, balance and holdings, cost basis, dividends and capital gains, buy and sell, and account maintenance. The other links shown here under My Accounts are important, but not so much necessary to do your everyday navigation. This tax center as well as your statements are important for the end of the year when you're going to be processing your taxes. When you click on Balance and Holdings, you're taken to this next screen, and it'll show you your breakdown of what you're holding in each different brokerage account. As you scroll down under balance and holdings, you're going to be able to see the breakdown of your different account holdings. In my taxable account, again, all I have is the Vanguard Federal Money Market Fund, which is the default settlement sweep fund. I have a current balance of $40,766. This total credit and debits, I have a credit of $150 because I transferred money from my bank to my Vanguard brokerage account. You'll see that I have this amount ready to trade and this amount below it ready to withdraw. The reason why this amount is less is because the funds have not settled yet. Scrolling further down, I've arrived at my Roth IRA brokerage account. The total balance here is $8,400. Looking down below that, you can see I have $0 in this particular sweep fund, which is the Federal Money Market Fund. And that's because, looking down further, I'm fully invested in the Vanguard Life Strategy Moderate Growth Fund. And like I said, here's the expense ratio. These are the number of shares that I own. And here's the price of the share as of Friday. Current balance, $8,400. Next thing I'm going to show you is my cost basis under my accounts. I've organized my cost basis table to display realized gains and losses and 2019 year-to-date figures. This is important to know for tax purposes. Up top are my mutual fund trades, and below that are my stock and ETF trades. The figures in green are trades I profited from, and the ones in red are ones I lost money. I had 2 losing trades this year. Chesapeake Energy Corp as well as the Vanguard Mega Cap Growth ETF. I lost a total of $600 on these trades. Luckily, I stopped trading earlier this year and ended up in the green. I have a short-term gain of about $1,800 in profit. I do not recommend trading and have since modified my strategy to a long-term buy and hold one. Trading is a losing game for more than 80 to 90% of people, and it's simply not worth it. In further videos, I'll discuss my investing strategies. Next, I'll discuss how I auto-invest with Vanguard. Under my accounts, the next important link I want to show is account maintenance. Once you click that, you'll be able to navigate your account's most important profile settings. Definitely set up your beneficiaries, as well as your mail preferences here. Quick tip, always choose e-delivery to waive certain fees within your Vanguard account. On this right side, definitely set up your bank information. I currently have 2 checking accounts linked to my Vanguard accounts. And let's have us click on automatic investment to set up your transfers. Clicking on automatic investments takes you to this page called automatic transactions. You can see that I have a weekly transfer from one of my checking accounts. Every Monday, $370 is transferred from my bank to my taxable brokerage account. Below that, every Monday, $166 is transferred from my bank to my Vanguard Roth IRA. My contributions are set up to maximize my Roth IRA by December 31st, 2019. So what that means is by the end of this year, a total of $6,000 will have been contributed to my Roth IRA. Next, let me briefly discuss why I have such a large cash position in my taxable account. Some of the reasons why I have such a large cash position in my taxable account is because I switched strategies to take risk off the table after locking in short-term gains for this year. I'm also gravely concerned about the current valuations of US stocks, so therefore I'm taking the time to research and understand market trends and data as they materialize. I'm learning about international markets, especially emerging markets. I'm already maxing out my Fidelity 401k with future contributions set at 70% S&P 500 and 30% US bonds. I'm already maxing out my Vanguard Roth IRA discussed in this video, which tracks global stocks and global bonds. And I'm already tracking 28 stocks in my M1 Finance portfolio. Let me share with you my current watch list. Having so much cash gives me the freedom and ability to pick and choose what I want to buy next. It also kind of helps me sleep at night in this kind of shaky, volatile market that we're in. Some of these include VBR, which is an ETF tracking the US Small Cap Value Index. I have my sights on VGT, which is the Vanguard ETF tracking the US technology sector. I'm very much interested in other balanced funds that Vanguard offers, since they're funds with stocks and bonds in a single fund, which reduces volatility, and they've produced excellent gains for a minimal fee. And that's what VASGX, which is another life strategy growth fund. In this one, it actually tracks 80% stocks and 20% bonds. I recently sold off VBIAX, which is Vanguard's balanced index fund, a 60-40 fund, because I thought having bond exposure isn't necessary in a taxable account, but I've decided that in order to reduce overall volatility in a single holding, balanced funds offer a quick and simple solution and can act as a core holding without me having to ever rebalance. VWELX, which is the Vanguard Wellington Fund, was founded in 1929, and it's the oldest Vanguard mutual fund and the nation's oldest balanced fund, 67% stocks and 33% bond exposure. After doing a back test between this and the Vanguard Balanced Index Fund, which is VBIAX, one that I sold off recently this year, it turns out the Wellington Fund has outperformed VBIAX since inception with virtually the same maximum drawdown amount and the worst year amount. I have my sights on it, is what I'm trying to say. My 28 stocks in M1 account are also on my watch list. I'm waiting for maybe a pullback before contributing heavy amounts. And here's a quick update of my holdings in my M1 Finance account. M1 Finance is a robo-advisor brokerage platform that offers commission-free trades and fractional share ownership. While I do recommend M1 Finance to anyone interested in investing, it's important to do your own research before getting started. You'll notice my asset allocation pie chart on the left side after logging in. And on the right is a performance table that can be organized by different time periods. To date, since April of this year, I've earned a total of $380 in dividends. Down below are my 3 pie slices. One of the most unique features of M1 Finance's pie structure is that the algorithm automatically targets underweight slices with future contributions in your cash pile to maintain the asset allocation that you've originally set. Currently, I have auto invest turned off because I prefer choosing which holdings to buy. So my weekly contribution from my linked checking account hits my cash pile every Monday, and then I decide what holdings to buy at that time. The Activities tab shows transaction history. Let's organize by dividends only, because I know so many YouTubers love their dividends. You'll be able to see all of my dividends since starting in April. The next tab, Holdings, displays all my holdings in an organized table. detailed in my previous episode 1, I keep less than 20% of my total investment portfolio with M1 Finance and track my performance using my Google Sheets portfolio tracker. Please feel free to snag a copy of this portfolio tracker in the description below for your own personal use. In a future video, I'll discuss how I valued my stocks and why I hold them. In the description below, I'll link my pie if you want to invest in it. Let me know if you have questions in the comments below about my pie as well as my portfolio tracker. To wrap up today's episode 2 of The Mind of Chase, I want to turn the table and ask you folks a few questions. What's on your watch list? Do you have any suggestions for me for stocks I should be buying? What's the reasoning behind that? And as always, if you have questions, feel free to comment below and or email me at themindofchase@gmail.com. Please like and subscribe, and good luck out there and happy investing. Thanks very much.